A new superintendent is joining Spokane Public Schools. Welcome to School Talk. I'm Taryn Roloff, and joining us today is Dr. Shelley Redinger, Spokane's new superintendent. Welcome, Dr. Redinger.
Thank you.
We are so delighted to have you here in Spokane. And we are taking advantage of this opportunity for you to tell the community a little bit about yourself. So give us a little background.
Sure. Well, I was born in Spokane. A lot of people don't know that. They think I'm from the East Coast, but actually I was born in Spokane. And I went to Chewelah High School and Washington State University, so I'm a Cougar, go Cougs. And then met my husband there, and we decided on a little adventure. So I taught in Richland for a while, and he was an engineer there in Richland, but we decided to go to South Carolina. And I got my doctorate from the University of South Carolina, and we were a little homesick, so we came back. We're in Washington again for some time, in Oregon, Virginia, now back to Washington, and we would like to stay here for some time now. So it's good to be back home.
And you have had lots of different experiences as far as education. You were a teacher, as you said, in Richland, but then you had other positions.
Yes. I was a principal in South Carolina as well as in Richland, Washington. And most recently, I was a superintendent in Oregon Trail School District, right outside of Portland, Oregon, and then I just came from Virginia, where I was superintendent of Spotsylvania, Virginia, Fredericksburg area, and so I've had quite a variety of experiences.
So family obviously drew you home because you have said that your parents are here and have other relatives here, but other things drew you to Spokane Public Schools, I assume, as well.
Yes, Spokane.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Spokane Public Schools has an excellent reputation for supporting its children. The community support is incredible here for educating its community, and for all the way from elementary, pre-K, as well as for adults. The university systems are very strong. We have Eastern, Whitworth, Gonzaga, Washington State University. So it's a wonderful place to explore and have lifelong learning opportunities for your family as well as for the community. So very good place to be.
And I assume when you were going to high school in Chewelah, you made a few trips to Spokane on occasion. And your mom also, didn't you say she was a teacher?
Yes, my mother was actually went to Arlington Elementary.
Okay.
So she went to Spokane Public Schools when she was a child, and then was a teacher in the Central Valley school system. So she went to Eastern Washington University, is where she met my father.
So tell us some of your your accomplishments that you're most proud of in the field of education.
Well, one of the things that I really like to do as I go into a new system is really listen and watch in terms of what has gone well and what needs to be looked at. So I'm very careful about strategic planning, looking at goals, and looking to see if we need to go different directions. So that will be a focus here as well. I've always worked hard to get community involved and listen to what they need and their desires and goals for the community, because our schools are our community's schools. And so community involvement is very important. Passing bonds, levies, always been very involved in that and helping a system progress forward.
And in fact, you have helped, was it Oregon or Spotsylvania pass a bond?
Yes, Oregon. Recently they had a bond that had failed 3 times, and we were able to really get the community involved and community pride, and we were able to pass that. And the grand opening is this fall, and I will go back to kind of say hello, and I'm looking forward to that.
Now, Spokane hasn't had a strategic plan for the last year or so. I think we were kind of working on that, and then when Dr. Stoll announced her retirement, that became kind of a subject left for you. So what is your plan, or have you had a chance to really think about that yet?
Yes, very much. We really want to get all of the stakeholders involved in strategic planning. So that will be a real focus. And so going out to community groups, business leaders, our staff, teachers, custodians, and really listen to where they want to go and how we can progress forward. I would like to meet with lots of community groups about different programs we can offer, meeting with parent groups, parent advisories. And we have a very strong medical community, so I think also talking to our hospitals in terms of how can we have internships, partnerships with our students.
So your door is kind of open for folks to call and say, hey, I'd like you to come visit with us, an organization, or just sit down?
Very much so, very much so. I really will encourage people to come and talk with me face to face and see what their needs are and where they'd like to see us go forward.
All right. So being a superintendent is a very stressful position. So what are some of the things that kind of keep you going when the stress gets to be too much?
Well, you have to like the job. And actually it's more of a lifestyle than a job. You need to be on call 24/7, and you have just as many events on Saturdays as you do during the week. And but what I find, my family is really important. They keep me grounded, my husband and son, and we like to go to sporting events together. So we're looking forward to going to Gonzaga basketball games and watching the Cougars play, as well as our high school students. We will go to track meets and football games, and that really relieves the stress. It keeps everything in perspective. And on really hectic days, I always like to make sure I visit schools. So sitting down with some kindergarten students, going to a high school and sitting in a cafeteria with the high school students and just talking with them really keeps everything in perspective.
In fact, that is one of the things that I think you have really enjoyed the most is, and been quite proud of, is the fact that you are at schools almost every day. Is that
yes, I really,
your previous position? Yes.
If I'm not in a school for a day, I can really feel it, and I know the need to get out there. And I like that in Spokane, the schools are relatively close, so I can go to quite a few. Other districts where I've been a superintendent were 425 square miles, and so it was, I would do it, but it was a little more driving. So I'm very excited about how close the schools are.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
How many square miles are we, I wonder?
Not like that. Not like that.
So sports is important to you and your family. You say your son is very active in all kinds of sports. So
yes, we're already trying to figure out which soccer leagues and baseball leagues and basketball. So we were, when we were in Oregon, big Portland Trailblazer fans. So we do enjoy going to sporting events. But I try to balance it with our family. We do really enjoy plays. We're excited about the Opera House, and I see Mary Poppins is going to be showing. So.
So how do you feel about having your son start in the school district where you will be our superintendent probably for many, many years?
Well, that would be good. He's used to being the superintendent's son, so it comes with pros and cons for him. I try to keep everything as normal as possible for him, and I want him, of course, treated like every other student. And so he's excited. He can't wait to be closer to his family, grandma and grandfather, and he'll be a fourth grader. And so he's looking forward to that.
So I know your family really likes sports, but what are some of your personal hobbies and interests?
I also very much like to work out in the yard and gardening and flowers. I know this is the lilac city, and I like lilacs. As we're looking for a home, I was looking for lilac bushes or lilac trees in the yard. I also like to cook, and so that's a hobby, so I'll probably be bringing baked goods. I learned that when I was in South Carolina. I learned how to make a really good peach cobbler, and I do like to cook with huckleberries, so it'll be nice to be able to go huckleberry picking again.
That sounds fun, doesn't it? So this summer you'll be spending time with the school board, I assume, and getting out and meeting the community. And when school starts up again, what will you be doing? Going out to the staff meetings? And
yes. One thing I will like to do, and we'll be planning, I think we're already scheduling those now, is to meet with each staff in the fall, go out and talk with them, talk a little bit about my philosophy, goals, and hear from them on what they would like to see in the future, talk a little bit about strategic planning. And then I do like to meet with students, and so I'll be setting up a time at each school to, the principals can choose whether it's a leadership group or students of the month, and I will go and eat lunch with them. That gives me a chance to eat in every cafeteria and meet with our kitchen staff as well as I go through the line. And I get to see what the pizza's like and our different foods. So I'll be doing that, and then I get a chance to really get to know our students as well. And I usually ask them what do they like about their schools and what would they like to see improved. And I learn a lot from our students that way. So I'll do that at elementary, middle, and high.
Wow.
And I also get to know the high school students by going to their events. So plays, the musicals, and I really like to do that because when graduation time comes, I feel like I know a lot of the students.
So what are your first impressions of Spokane? You've been here just a couple days.
Wonderful, wonderful. It feels like home. You know, whenever you come from the airport over the hill and you see the city, it always feels like home. So I'm just very excited. I have to keep pinching myself because it's real, and we're here in Spokane, and I look forward to contributing and helping Spokane move forward.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being here. And we'll be seeing a lot of you on this
Yes.
show in the coming months.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for joining us on this edition of School Talk.